podcast listeners, if you hear my voice right now, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take out your phone or on your computer, go to Apple Podcasts, search for Ask Your Oldhead Podcast. You'll see my logo, my little picture, my little image there. Find the show. Please rate and write a review. It's a small thing, but it helps others find this work and find what I'm doing here. And it really, really matters, as small as that may seem. So if you could please do that before we get into the show, I would much appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Let's get into it. Peace. Peace. This is the Ask Your Oldhead Podcast with Justice Rajee. This is a special episode, or a new episode, As a Black Man Thinketh, with my good brother Nabri Savior, returning to the podcast for the second time. So tune in, and as always, take the best part for yourself. Peace. Peace. Nabri Savior.
Peace.
What's up with it?
Justice Rajee.
It's the triumphant return of the Nabri Savior. My man.
It's been months, you know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa. But how are you, man? How you been?
I'm fairly well, God. I had some losses in the family, significant to me, and I'm gonna add on with some of those and some other ciphers. I ain't gonna dig too deep in them here, but so I had to travel the land, traveling under the COVID conditions. You know what I mean? So I'm actually operating in self-quarantine today as we're recording, you know what I mean, just to be, cautious and precautious before I go all the way back to the house. Fortunately have the means or the structures, the resources in place to do that. But all in all, I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a healthy mind, healthy body, you know what I'm saying? And ready to get 2021. You know what I'm saying? Locked, loaded, ready to explode, so to speak. How about yourself?
The continuation of 2020. Like 2022.5, like point, you know what I mean? I'm good. I'm happy to say that I survived COVID. I survived COVID. I'm just getting over COVID, the vid, as Kevin Hart. It was crazy, guy. I'm still kind of like in denial about it because it just really hit me like a sinus cold. And I usually get whenever I get sick, I get sinus colds. I don't get like all the wild shit that folks be getting. So I kind of was like, all right. So the way I addressed it, the way I attacked it was my normal attack. But like the body ache was like ill, and it reminded me of when I had the flu or when I was a child. So last Tuesday, I was at work, man, and I was just feeling like I feel a cold coming down, and it was like by mid-shift, I had to go like, man, let me go take some Tylenol extra strength because my body feels poor, right?
Right.
And like, how when you be at work sometimes, you be like, man, I'm not coming to work tomorrow. Like, you make a conscious decision. Like, you know what? This is my last day. Like, I'm not coming back. I got for whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? Cool. I'm a ride it out. But tomorrow I'm not coming. I'm taking the sick day. And sure enough, man, I didn't, I was going to try to chance it, but I took a sick day and I got sicker, man. It was crazy. And that's what happened to be the same day, Wednesday, of the great insurrection.
Word. The day of our national crisis, our constitutional crisis.
That shit was unreal, man. That shit was almost like, whoa. It kind of had like a 9/11 vibe. Like, when I watched 9/11. I'm like, yo, like is this shit real? Like, and that was like, is this shit real? Like, oh, they're dead. Like, oh, and I'm sick of it. At that point, I'm really hit. My body is sore. I'm like, I'm like congested. I was like in some bad shape. But I was doing the knowledge, like seeing like, yo, man, what's going on here? And wow, it was like crazy. Then, I got rest. I'm still like, wow, all right, it's going down, right? This is what we talked about, for years, and what we heard about, and this shit's actually happening. Like the revolution will be televised, right? And so I got rest. The next day, so the news was just all that, man. It was just all about the insurrection. And it was kind of dope seeing like Republicans are seeing like, pretty much white America just like upset. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Some people like, what we might have discussed, off the radar, we wasn't 100%, he wasn't saying for you to actually go do the shit, but y'all to go do the shit. And it's like,
I was wilding.
Yeah, well, it's
like, God, it's the thing of like, it's like someone at a night event, a night spot maybe, and they ratchet up some tough talk or some. So what you want to do? And then it'd be like, and then the person be like, well, what's up then? And they'd be like, oh damn, I thought I would say what you gonna do, and then you'd be like, come on, man, let's chill. like you would back down, but they was like, nah, yeah, let's storm the Capitol, let's do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just kept going. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like they went in, like they was going in. Like I was just like, wow, man. Just months ago, Black Lives Matter were having their protests, and even the threat of, pursuance like how what happened with this insurrection, man, it was just rubber bullets, it was pepper spray, it was mace, it was restraint, and there was like no restraint. At the Capitol, there's no restraint. Like, where's the police at? Where's the respect? Like, there was none. So we've seen a whole different level of entitlement. Once again, from folks who you might hear talk about it, but they actually went about it. There wasn't too many trays in the car, like referencing Boys in the Hood, when Trey car.
Right, let me out. Yo, let me out, dope boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, let me out.
I'm sure though, you know what I'm saying? I imagine there's more videos and accounts of that day come down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there'll be somebody that writes the like, I really was into the movement. I thought it was about, this, you know what I'm saying, as was joked in a couple spaces, on the Twitters and various places, like the person who didn't go in the building, but they was there and they were disillusioned at what they were seeing. And like, I didn't know this is what my peers were saying. I was just talking about, I was just looking for identity and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I'm sure we're going to get a couple of them, you know what I'm saying, in the next, it's probably going to take a little longer because it's looking like that this didn't break the way some of them people thought it was going to break in terms of the national attitude. And, I would say, I don't think the displays of wanton disrespect for the Republic are over. Yeah, I think that unfortunately we're probably gonna have some other crazy acts, but I think the idea that really these folks were going to continue to operate and say these, really wild things, you know what I'm saying, in public spaces. It wasn't even like they was hiding it really like that. Like they was going on different social media networks, like, yeah, we're gonna do it like this, and and we're gonna let them know what time it is, and all types of just big talk. And some people was like, oh, well, they're just big, they're just big talk. They're not serious about it. And my thing is like, I mean, how many times somebody gonna give you big talk before you go, well, maybe they is gonna try.
Yeah, maybe they are gonna try.
Like, so, man, well, I'm glad that it sounds like you on the other side of it, at least at the moment, as far as the COVID go.
Yeah, I am. I'm good now. Yeah, I'm good now. Pretty much quarantine, week. Well, for the 10 days you're out of the clear. You know what I'm saying? The last 4 days you're pretty much smooth sailing. It's downhill, but I guess legally they want you to quarantine for 10 days, or at least till you feel better, and at least until you have no more symptoms.
Yeah.
I still have the no smell and no taste. However, that's going to be a while before that goes away, they say, before my smell and taste comes back. And that's weird because it didn't like there's no warning signs of losing your smell and taste. One day you taste everything, and then like next day, it's gradually, it's like, wow, I'm eating something that's real spicy, like Indian food, and you can't taste it. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Right. How spicy do you want it? And you be like, mild, but I'm sure level 6, and it wasn't hitting me. It was like, you take a shower, you like using mad soap because you're like, man, I can't smell. Like, am I clean? You can almost use a whole bar of soap.
You're like, something wrong. What's wrong with this soap? I just got this soap. How this soap though?
Right. But I was like, damn, good in there. And it's like, and you put some cologne on, and it's like, you might spray the whole fucking bottle on you, G, because it's like, can't smell. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be on the other side of it. So, hey, more on a positive note, what we didn't discuss and is long overdue is the push-up challenge.
Yes. You
and I have been doing this push-up challenge for like 3 years, man.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't seem like it, but it's been 3 years. Or actually, I'll say I've been connected to push-up challenges for 3 years. I think you and my challenge is like 2.5 years strong, so I'm gonna wrap it all up into 3.
Word. Well,
if we continue,
no, we're definitely going to continue. At least I intend to continue. But could you, because I often get asked, so those that don't know, or maybe don't see, on our, I guess, collective individual, Instagram, social media, we do a set of push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Right. We share and we let the other person know, that we completed our set. And but the question I always get for people, first these people are like, oh, so it's like, is it like how many a day, or like, are y'all doing, because there's all these different push-up challenges sort of floating around, like,
right.
do 10 a day, then 5 more, then, up to doing, 1 million or whatever push-ups. And all these different reasons. But for you, or if you could, guy, could you just share, what's part of your motivation, for why, or as you recall, like us starting to do this together?
Word, peace. Yeah, we did it because to basically display accountability, responsibility, discipline, and consistency amongst us Black men, within the Black community. And just to, we tend to get like a bad rap, like, Black males, like we're not doing something, we're not being accountable, we're not being responsible, we're not, exercising discipline and whatnot. So that's what really came to, because before it was like, there's been challenges where people say, all right, you got to do a set, you got to do 50 push-ups or you got to do a set of whatever. But it was just word of mouth, and there was no way to track it. There was no, there was no proof that you did a set of push-ups. So, like most things, I think it just was, I think it wasn't like it was evident that they weren't being done. So it was like, yo, fuck that. Post your set. You know what I'm saying? Post your set every day. So, it can be tracked. It can be seen that you are being accountable for what you said you were going to do. So that's why we post a set. Listen, you could do 1,000 sets if you want to, but no one's going to watch you do 1,000 sets. Push-ups all day on their timeline.
Right.
So we post a set a day, doing however many. And no matter how many times I explain this to people, slowly or fast, they still always ask, yo, so how many I gotta do? How many y'all doing? You could do 5. You post a set of you doing 5, congratulations. That's cool. And folks be excited. Man, we get so many people who want to add on. And they might add on for a day, or they might add on for a couple of days, and they vanish. Mm-hmm. And then they lose the concept of the push-up challenge.
Yeah.
And come back and then they ask, like, hey, so what we gotta do again? It's like,
well, guys, if I could give people even a different context, because part of which goes back, even back to when we met. You know what I'm saying? When we was both younger men, but you was a younger man than I was, and that when we would travel, we used to jump out the car, you know what I'm saying, and everybody do a set of push-ups, right? We used to, as a evidence of the accountability of doing what you need to do to be ready to take care of yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like when we operate within our teachings, right? You know what I'm saying? And 5% is that when we come together, the expectation is that you've done what you need to do to know that you can stand up right. You know what I'm saying? You can speak your mind, but also your body is in a place where you can take care of yourself. You could be a contributor. You know what I'm saying? If we got to carry some bags in, you ain't like, I'm mad weak though. I can't actually carry. I can't really help because I'm out here not taking care of myself, right? You know what I'm saying? And that the idea, and I think is what's hard for people, even because I get the same thing, like how many sets I got to do, or how many, or is it you trying to get to do 100? And it's like, it's not really competition. You know what I'm saying? Even though we got the word challenge, the challenge is about the idea of challenging yourself daily, as I see it, you know what I'm saying, to stick to something, right? And then also doing that with your brother, doing this together. So I do it, you do it. We demonstrate that commitment to something that we said we would do, you know what I'm saying, and try to exhibit the idea that, no, there's baseline stuff that all of us should do, you know what I'm saying, so that we could be able to hold our part of hold our end of the table up, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I guess a quote to Master Killer lyric, you know what I'm saying, what I do to eat is nothing in comparison to what I do to keep myself upright and exact. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see me over here, you're like, oh man, Nabri, Justice, they seem like good dudes. But it's like, there's work in the background that I do to maintain myself, you know what I mean? So that I could be, even on a bad day, I can keep my composure. You know what I'm saying? I can acknowledge you speaking about not feeling well physically when you ill. Sometimes when people aren't feeling ill, if they not in tune, they start lashing out at people. They be like, yo, what's wrong with you? You sick. You take your ass home and lay down. They be like, I ain't gotta lay down, right? Yeah, I'm sure you seen that where it be like, yo, you are sick. Can you go home and lay down, please? And stop lashing out at us, right? And so when I think about the challenge, it's like, and I hope people understand this, it's about the commitment to consistently doing what we need to do to take care of ourselves, and that then we are holding a level of accountability and concern for each other. And then my hope is other people will go, yeah, I'm Like they see us doing the set, they be like, "Yo, I ain't do no push-ups today. Let me bust out a set real quick. Let me get my if 5 is what you got, do a hard 5, brother. Sis, but bang out 10 and do that every day. Yeah. That's better than I did 100 today and then you pulled a muscle in your back and you don't do a push-up for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or some shit.
And that normally happens, or something weird like that happens. I've even had a guy add on with us and have to stop doing the push-up challenge because of the attention that he was getting. Yo, brother, I'm not gonna say his name. Good brother, man, but he was definitely excited adding on with us. And you know, he in his work uniform, you know, busting. And I'm like, yo, man, what happened? And I seen him, you know, and I seen he went off the radar. And what happened to him was that he was getting inboxes. He was getting messages from women who were like, "Ooh, turn me on," or push-ups. It's a true story because this always happens to me. I always get. There's been months where I'm like, man, fuck the push-up challenge. I'm not doing it this month, or I'm. And I always get reminded. Like someone always like sends me a motivational DM or inbox like, hey, where the push-ups at? You know what I'm saying? You posting all this stuff, where the push-ups at? Or like, so inspired by what y'all do. We've inspired so many people to, you know, start challenges of their own. You know, just start getting active and doing things. You know, I've been giving people their flowers, man, while they living. Like I always props, man. I'm not an objective hater. I'm an objective hater, if that makes sense. Like, you know, star. But I'm not a hater. Even I may joke around, but at the end of the day, I want us all to eat. I want us all to do well. I want us all to hustle, motivate, and inspire. You know, rest in peace, Nipsey, right? But I want us to all do that. And even people, man, just because of the attention that we've been getting, just branch off and like try to reinvent the wheel. And it's like, that's cool, but it's like, yo, just give a salute. You know, give a salute and go ahead and do your own thing. And so what I find, you know, me and your push-up challenge is the duration of the month. So if it's 30 days in a month, we're doing 30 days. If it's 31 days, we're doing 31 days. Folks will come and they'll do 7 days challenges, 10-day challenges. You know what I'm saying? It's like fly by night challenges. And it's like, okay, you know, that's what's up. With really no clear like goal in mind, like objective is all right. But again, over the years they've came and went. Most of them don't complete their challenges. You know, by that 20th day, it's like just me and you. You know what I'm saying? Still do like, we still at it. And by the 25th day, it's like, God damn. You know, so people are almost forced to like pay homage because it's like, wow, you've been on my Facebook timeline, my Instagram timeline for a month, every day, doing push-ups. And what I think was dope about our challenges that we do them in street clothes. We don't be in gym clothes. I mean, if you happen to be at the gym and knocking out your set, like you'll be in your martial arts.
Yeah, sometimes, yep.
But besides that, we in our everyday clothes, getting down in the grass, the snow, the rain, you know, wherever, doing our push-up set, just showing accountability for what we said we was going to do. And that amazes people. Like every time I get down in the snow and doing like, wow, or it's freezing outside, like, wow, like you're really doing push-ups out. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it motivates folks to get up and get going. I think it's a great thing, man. We feel good. Definitely feel stronger. Definitely feel like we could handle ourselves and handle that and more with what we do.
Indeed. So you brought up though, acknowledging people, man. What's something that like why is it important though, like to let people know, show love, especially like you say while you can and when you can. You know what I'm saying? What is there any special insights or thoughts you've had about that given this year, man?
Folks go through stuff, man. Like love is scarce out here. And finding that genuine love, man, is like hard out here, man. And it's like for some reason, I don't know if it's obviously is where society has went, but like the music, just the vibes, just how everything is going, man. Like I think folks got it twisted. Like I don't know where it actually or what year it became that cool to give props. Like everybody is doing something, right? Like when you and I were doing music, folks weren't doing music. We actually had fans. Like from 96 to like 2005, everyone and their mama didn't do music. Like folks were still in the fan lane. Like folks would still support your projects, still support your shows, and still you could sell a mixtape. You could sell a mixtape and actually buy it and listen to it, and you wouldn't hear them say, "But after 2005, if you tried to sell music, folks would be like, 'Hey man, I do music too,' and it's like, okay, that's up. But I want you to cop my project. You know what I'm saying? So then your project had to be equal or better before they would actually, give you some support. So my thing I'm saying that is like, man, folks need to know their greatness. Folks need to know like, hey, yo, man, I rock with you. I like what you're doing. Keep it going. You're a dope artist. You just see so many people have all these things to say about folks, like once they return to the essence, once they pass away, they die. And it's like, yo, they got like paragraphs. They wrote a fucking book. And the person didn't know like a sentence of what they said. You know what I'm saying? So the new hip phrase began to be giving people their flowers while they're still here to smell them. At a funeral, people bring flowers and they post them on the casket and whatnot. And obviously the person who is deceased can't smell the flowers.
Right.
Not spooky, but they can't smell the flowers. So it started being like, yo, I want my flowers now. So I just make sure, God, that I tell folks, yo, man, you're dope. I like your music, or I like what you got going on, or, and what you did was fly. I'm into that. I just see a lot of people they struggle with that. Almost like it's a hidden law or rule to give credit to somebody, to give props to somebody for what they're doing. And what you see is people, okay, I said the push-up challenge. So instead of saying, yo, Nabri, Justice Rajee, I love what y'all doing, how could I be a part of it? They'll go and just start their own shit. Again, as if they reinvented the wheel and then like, like push-up challenge, and it's like, all right, okay. But they was a fan of your push-up challenge. They were inspired by your push-up challenge. They wanted to be down. We opened it to everybody. Hey, join us. We say, join us, do a set. We didn't, seclude anybody. So there's no reason to, have all these challenges or have all these things going when you could just be a part of one. Not saying you shouldn't start one, but so I find that's what people do. It rap cool. Instead of me getting into what you're doing, I'm gonna just go be a rapper too. And it's like, well, damn, man, you whack. But because you couldn't give props, right? You didn't like the attention or it brought somebody else, you start doing it. yo, buddy, everything ain't for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something, and especially in the year that 2020 was, and for the amount of people who, lost people for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, from COVID, directly COVID related to, I mean, here it's been a really bad year, you know what I'm saying, in terms of neighborhood and interpersonal violence, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of cities, you know what I'm saying, which I think the conditions of the pandemic in terms of people being isolated and disconnected, are part of that uptick, you know what I'm saying, in these shootings and violent, you know what I'm saying, violent means to settle disagreements that's popping up, you know what I mean, across cities. And it's something too, I mean, just to bring it home for a minute, like I said, on my most recent travel, I was home in New Jersey for my grandfather's funeral. And, because I've made it a priority whenever I go home to touch base with him, I have no regrets, you know what I'm saying, about if he knew how I felt about him as my grandfather and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Now, my uncle passed also in the month. And for the most part, we was not as close or regularly connected as me and my grandfather. But the last time, we got to talk to each other, we was able to exchange, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I love you, uncle. I love you, nephew. Won't. And we practice often as brothers, like saying, yo, I love you, God, like peace. You know what I'm saying? Talk to you next time I see you. Woo. And I think that is really important for folks to embrace the idea that, tell people that you give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I think that there's a place and a space and there's a weird power dynamic that can happen in our culture in terms of the greater society right now, where, sort of this rugged individualism, I don't need nobody. I'm just gonna be with either I don't need no new friends or I don't need this, all the stuff you don't need. As if, and there's a strength sometimes in acknowledging what stuff you don't need, but there's also a danger that you can kind of get absorbed with this idea that you exist and are great only because of you, and not because of some of the people that maybe, put something on you or gave you something to think about or supported you, you know what I mean, when no one else did, or, shoot, at the bare minimum raised you. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just always important to just incorporate that gratitude and that love, you know what I'm saying, into the way that you live. And to me, that's also part of, to me, a bigger part of us doing the push-up piece together. And I think something, if we can tip towards, MF Doom for a second, something that I picked up, or I've always thought about him as an artist, and even the piece of, like when he started rocking the mask and doing the Doom thing, it was like, okay, because I knew who, I knew he was Zev Love, from KMD back in the day. But I was like, okay, I understand, I think, why you're doing this. By being in the mask, you give yourself this space, because unfortunately, especially in hip hop, we don't let people age. Like we let people got to be the person that they was. And then we act like, like they've been extinguished. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a degree of creative license that you can't have when they're like, oh, you need to do, I need you to be the person I think you are. And it's like, by creating this other space, it's like you could be who you are, but you can also make this rhythm where sometimes, you can just let your lyrics do the talking. Like you don't have to do no damn explanation. That's, what I loved about his work as an artist, and even the way we all became aware, and much love, respect to his family. I'm assuming the brother got, had kids and
he did
that love him and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, I hope that they're well. But he definitely did the most MF Doomish way of letting the world know he wasn't with us. But I like to think about it also. He gave his family time to deal with his leaving the world to themselves, right? And then the rest of us, because I don't know how I would feel if I was, if someone that was very personal to you was grieving, and then suddenly, like going back to the start of the year when Kobe and his daughter returned, like, yeah, I mean, that had to be extra hard for his other daughter and his wife to have the whole world like, oh, we care so much. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but also, man, I'm grieving. Like, I don't really want to talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I imagine at some point, and much love to them, like, I could imagine them being like, yo, I dig that y'all love my husband and my daughter, but I already know y'all people. Right. Like, he's back. And I think that's just something I was thinking about, guy. What you think about that with Doom?
It's ill because, and that's case in point. Like, Doom passed away, and I'm seeing every, like, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper giving Doom props. Like, the elite, everyone is like, yo, he was the dopest. Like, he was my favorite. He's a genius. And I'm like, wow. And Doom, like, I like the whole Mad Villain Doom thing. But I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Like, I like this music. I would hear it on Pandora. I know this dude is dope. But who is he? Because the man, he always thought, he come up on the screen, it's the guy with a mask on. He's dope. But the mask kind of like repelled you to a degree because it's like, all right, this person is they're hiding. Like, who are the weird shit? But so I'll admit, when I'm like, yo, this guy who over the years I'm like hearing like he passed away, I really got into his shit, man. I'm like, yo, he was a genius. This guy was like righteous. I think he was like, I think he was like God. Like, you know what I'm saying? The way,
as I like to say, at least, at some point engage with the culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what degree he would have carried it himself, but definitely, he was not unfamiliar.
Right. Because I heard Busta Rhymes give him utmost respect and props, and it was like, okay, they build on that level, and I'm like, wow. So I'm listening, I'm checking them out, and I'm like, wow, man, he did something that we all wanted to do as MCs, rappers, the way he just wrote his rhymes. Like, one of the hardest things, one of the most stressful things about writing a rhyme is thinking about the chorus. Mm-hmm. It kind of makes you not want to write a rhyme. It's like, oh, chorus going to say, what's the hook? What's the hook going to be?
Right. I don't even want to write a hook. I just want to write this rhyme.
Yeah. Just keep rhyming and just rhyme. I might pause. I'm just rhyming. And I might change the beat as I'm rhyming, but I'm going to just rhyme. And then when I'm done, I'm done. And there was so many tracks I heard of his that was like, wow, what the fuck? Like, I could have did this. I always wanted to do this shit. And that comes out what he's like, like famous for is just like beats and rhymes. And just keeping it simple, like hip hop, beats and rhymes. And like you said, and the beats and rhymes, and then Apple Music has like when you play songs now on Apple Music from an artist, it plays their lyrics. So it displays their lyrics on the screen. Oh, okay. So when I play his music and I'm like reading the lyrics, I'm reading the rhymes, I'm like, wow, he has so many fucking bars and punchlines that was just like, move. It was just so subtle, like, yo, wow. So yeah, so I appreciate him more. I mean, I'm sad that I wasn't able to give him all his roses and flowers when he was alive, but I respected him. But now it's more like, wow. Yeah. What I thought was dope, interesting, because I could point the finger at a lot of people in the industry. Everyone was talking about him. Even Hot 97, the morning show, Ebro, and they were saying how his music wasn't on the mainstream radio, and their thing was like, well, we love Doom, but we couldn't play Doom because people these days will be like, what the fuck is this? Or it wasn't appreciated as much as they did, or those were diehard underground hip hop fans would. And I'm like, yeah, but as much as y'all giving them the praise, man, like, I guess Rosenberg claimed that on his Sunday show, pardon me, he's played Doom, and he may have, but it's like, yo, for the amount of respect and the amount of how everybody was hurt, he should have got more of a platform.
Well, the thing it makes me think about is like, it's one thing like you say that, then it's like, are you sure you couldn't have played a little bit more Doom though? Like, are you sure? Because like it's like, and it's the weird thing, and I like to think about this. I would say in terms of someone in the last 2 years that is constantly like with the Roots and the Black Thoughts arc, right? Where even though the Roots have had songs and Thought has had songs, and even now Thought has songs, that people play on the radio. I think I don't actually listen to the radio very much, so I don't know what the hell they play on the radio. I still know most of the time what they don't play, right? You know what I'm saying? But I don't totally know what they do play. Yeah, I mean, but even if you think of artists like Conway the Machine, the West Side Gun and them, Benny the Butcher, that crew, Royce the 5'9", folks who have, like, we sort of got this thing now, I think, because of where the medium and the access has moved. Some of those artists who some of us have known about their work back to the early 2000s, the same arc in time as Doom, that I guess now, like, there's a broader mainstream appeal for those artists. But I remember when those artists were like, yeah, they don't play their records on no Hot 97s and no, top 100 station nowhere in America. You know what I'm saying? But it does beg the question, is like, are you sure you can't play some of these songs sometimes? You know what I mean? Because maybe you could.
They dedicate like bits to like speaking about Doom for like, whenever you speak more like 5 minutes and up, there could have been a way you played some fucking Doom.
You might be able to throw a couple of them joints on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, I could, maybe that's what I should do. To put with this when we release it, a playlist of some songs. Like, I think you could have put these on the radio. I think you could have did it. You know what I mean? All caps is like, yo, you know what I mean? The Danger Mouse stuff from the joint with the project with Danger Mouse for Adult Swim. You know what I mean? There's a couple joints on there. What's funny is there's several joints on that I've heard radio stations play as the background audio. Like they'll play the beat. And it's like, which is an acknowledgement that you could play that song. You know what I mean? But that's the limitation sometimes, with the medium. That's the limitation in the market, right? And people's perception of what people are like or how people will respond. But something I always thought and I remember listening to props to Count Bass D on his page. Sometimes he does these kind of like answering questions, to people and fans or whatever. And a couple months ago, someone asking about Doom, like working with Doom and the Mask, and because I think for a time he DJ'd for Doom and also like produced music, made music with him, and he was part of the thing he mentioned, and if I misrepresent it, may the brother let me know, you know what I mean, but that part of Doom's understanding with the Mask was as much about him being able to do what he wanted as an artist, is also that even the people who like your music, they like your music, but they may or may not totally like you. Right? And so like you gotta like trying to find sort of that appropriate level of like, because you mentioned like sort of like being repelled a little bit, and it's certain degree kind of like, yeah, I do like, I want you to like me, but I don't want you to like me too much.
Right.
I mean, because there's something with that, because we've seen it before with famous entertainers, like where they go, like they be cool, and then it's like, man, what are they doing? Like, where are they going? Right? Because that fame, you know what I'm saying, and that want to be continually in the you like me, you like me, you like me, I think is a very powerful human. I think it's one of the most powerful human drugs. You know what I'm saying? And that sense of power, and then you can start trying to do stuff just to keep that feeling. And I wonder if him as an artist approached it like, this is something that keeps me level-headed by making this space, right? So whoever I am in my private life, I can be that person and not lose touch with that, but I can still do my creativity. I can still do my art. You know what I mean? And I think that that's important. And I think there's something to that in, especially in any public facing thing where you have to, you know, kind of get the attention of people, that the work of keeping the attention of people could take you, like, you know, you go over there, like you was cool. And then it was like, yeah. And then he started talking about he was selling, you know, like he's selling blenders now. They'll be like, wait, Nabri, like you come out with the Nabri blender and they're like, Nabri Savior, get the blender. You know what I mean? We'd be like, nah, wait a minute, Nabri, we was talking about as a black man think of it, push-ups, and now you try to sell me knockoff blenders from Alibaba. Like, what's up with that, man? Like, I don't know if I'm happy about that. You know, and I ain't saying you can't sell blenders, guy. If you want to sell blenders, you know what I'm saying, that's your dream. I ain't trying to stop you. I'm just saying sell a high-quality blender. Don't just sell a blender because people like you. You know what I'm saying? Right, which is a lot of what we got now with social media and everything. Is like, yeah, get a fan base and then start selling them cheap crap. And it's like, yo, don't do that. Like, don't sell people cheap crap.
What you just said is like what's happening in this pandemic, and that's so sad. Like, celebrities, there's folks who you wouldn't see do some of the shit that they're doing, even just being on TikTok. Mm-hmm. You know, because the pandemic has shut down Hollywood, you know, shut down shows. You know, people are doing what they got to do to sell something, make money, you know? And yeah, you might see one of your favorite actors or actresses selling a fucking blender.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to get you in a timeshare or some shit. They'd be like, and I know you like what you saw me in Die Hard. You know what I'm saying? As security officer like, number 4.
Right. It's like, stick to your day job. And it's like, my day job is gone. I don't have a day job anymore.
I gotta get this money in here.
Right. You gotta watch that now. Before it was funny, but now it's like, I don't have a day job anymore. Like, my day job is gone. So yeah, that was, you know, what was how was your New Year's Eve? How'd you bring the New Year's in? Actually,
so what I did, since I had to travel, you know, from Oregon back to New Jersey, you know, I'm always looking. I actually I was flying out like 5 a.m. on New Year's Day.
Okay.
So New Year's, you know, Eve, we made food. We usually make food on New Year's Day and eat together with my family. Pardon me, or his family, just parents, we, you know, all living in, just moved into a house all together. And they just were able, basically like three days before. There they go. 3 days before, like, they were able to move all the way in the house, right? So it was like, well, let's cook, you know, make food tonight, you know, be together and hang out. And, you know, we did we do our, you know, 30-40% Kwanzaa, which we usually, you know, we participate a little bit, but we did a like family game night, you know what I mean, with some other family via the Zoom. You know what I mean? And then we just kicked to each other. Then it was like, Happy New Year's. And then I went and laid down for 3 hours and got up and went to the airport. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I wouldn't have had it no other way.
In classic Rajee form, you know, the beat since 2000, God.
Yeah. How about you? What did you do, God?
You know, I'm usually not off for the holidays, or like, you know, so I was actually off that day. So I had a good time. No, was I? Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Was that? Well, you know what? Pardon me, God. I meant to say Christmas Eve. Oh. Reason why I just said, because I had a good time Christmas Eve. I was singing, you know, Donny Hathaway. I was like,
oh yeah, I see. I remember that.
Yeah,
you was jamming.
Yeah, I was in my R&B bag, man. So, you know, you couldn't tell me nothing. So I was like, man, I wonder how other folks who may not fully indulge in, you know, Christmas and whatnot, I wonder how they're bringing in, you know, the Christmas morning day. So I was having a good time, and I was in my bed. I think New Year's, I was actually at work, so that was.
Work. Well, you know, what I as when I'm asked, and I try to do this in the most respectful way possible, because people are like, "Oh, what you doing for Christmas?" And I'll be like, "Hopefully nothing." I mean, and people look at me for a minute and they pause. I'm just like, I'm trying to, cause like, I don't really participate. You know what I mean? Right. Like I'm not involved, but I ain't mad at y'all either. Like, I'm not, I don't think, but I try to like, I might stay up super late. And like, I think I played my Conquer the Space universe video game.
Okay.
Like, and zoned out. You know what I'm saying? For like, because it's a long game. It takes like 5-6 hours to play. You know what I'm saying? So I was on the computer just chilling, like listening to music, mashing buttons. You know what I'm saying? And trying to see what's good.
While Santa is flying through the sky with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer leading the charge, dumping off gifts everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. I can't. I guess I first, not to dwell on it, but what got me about the idea of Santa Claus and the reindeers, and I'm like 7 years old. We living in projects, and I'm like, how is Santa going to come and squeeze through this small chimney and put all these gifts under the tree? Like, how?
So, station break or moment in time. At this moment, in the original recording, I had to depart the room because someone was trying to break in to the building where I was doing my work. And we were unceremoniously interrupted by the bullshit. So me and Nabri picked the conversation up a day later, and we just add on from there. So peace. So we reconvene through the magic of creativity. It's as if we're in the same place in the same time. Right. But we are not in the same place in the same time. And I'll add on the details of what occurred in the middle of our glorious, dialogue in the previous moment.
It was
So, guys, the one thing we didn't get to touch on that we was talking about was a couple of birthdays in the world of music. But, as I like to say, the arts and culture and society. And we had Slick Rick and LL Cool J. And, I wanted to get your thoughts or your, some insights. I definitely got more, particularly on Cool J, that I was thinking about that was interesting to me that I wanted to big up. But what's some of your thoughts on that? You know what I mean? Just in light of what we've been talking about.
Happy born day to LL Cool J, Uncle L, Lady Love, Cool J, Cool James. The GOAT, man. He was one of the first to actually use the term of being the GOAT. A lot of us, didn't have any arguments. I mean, it was a lot of hot, new artists out when he said that. But and he actually named his album that, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He did. One of them, like the 2000 drawing, I think.
Right.
99.
L's like L's like your pops. He's like he has like that commanding, image that's like when he comes into a room, you won't be talking that shit like he ain't the GOAT or he ain't the best. You know what I'm saying? But when you're far away from him, it's like, oh man, fuck Uncle L. He ain't you know what I mean? He ain't top 5. But when he's in the building, it's like he just commands your attention. And to me, I always like the charismatic side of him, man. Just learning like from that, just being like a ladies' man, just being physically fit. I always respected him for that aspect, and just his flow, just being natural, just being like I said, commanding. When he spits something, you listen, and just being like the king of like the love song, like the rap.
Love rap. You know what I'm saying? Like love rap. Yeah. And I want to add on that though, because I think there's two things about L that always stuck with me. Like there was a part of me that especially in the mid 90s, right? Like, so the Mr. Smith and like the Phenomenon, I think it was Mr. Smith, Phenomenon, those records was the like in my mind, it was like LL was, from the old school, but he was still around. You know what I mean? And that wasn't really it was like sort of accurate, but it wasn't really accurate because he was super young in them early records. So if you've seen L in Crush Groove like I did in the movies, I think he's like 15 or 16 or something in that movie. You know what I mean? He's a baby. Like he wasn't like some of them dudes like Rakim, like Rakim was definitely older, but like Run DMC, Chuck D, they like grown in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? They was like 20 somethings. You know what I mean? And so, so I think about that one with L, but L can rhyme, man. Like L got, as they say, bars. And the way, I can't say I like every record, on LL's records over the years, but he always has something on there that you're going to like. He also really did corner the market on them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they, and I don't say it derogatorily, like love joints. Like, yo, I'm about to make like 2-3 songs on this record about how I love women and women you can assume to be black women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And really making songs about our women in a genre, now some people, sorry, the sex concepts within there. Some people may or may not always feel are positive, but largely his perspective was like, yo, like he literally made a song called I Need a Girl from Round the Way. Like I need women from where I'm from. I don't want women from somewhere other place. I want them from where I'm from. Right. I want them that's like they do the stuff I'm familiar with. Like they from the same blocks I'm from, right? Which I think is an enduring is a message that I think, especially now, because it seems, it's all the in vogue to talk about, dubious origin women now. At least, that's what comes out sometimes with some of the young rappers. Like, we don't really know where she from. It's like, well, that's that. I don't know if that's cool, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Right. I mean, I ain't saying it's bad, but I don't know if it's cool. It's definitely, you know what I mean? And I think that, and as everything with multiple artists out of the early days of hip hop, the number of artists that have shown us sort of the full level of the other talents they had, the other skills, and where they could apply their creativity. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, he's been on the damn action show on CBS for like a decade or something. You know what I mean? Like, whether someone think that's good or bad, it speaks to, when someone has creative skill and a way of creative expression, and this should be a lesson to a lot of our young people, like, you might be good. You might be pretty good at rapping, but you might find out you better at something else. You know what I mean? And don't be limited. Don't put yourself in a box. You know what I mean? So, props to him, for me. And that was my thought on the brother L.
Yeah, that's peace. Around the Way Girl is timeless. Yeah. Like you could hear it. It sounds so good in the summertime, but it's like one of those songs that's like, wow, like you'll always stop and listen to it and reminisce about, and it kind of gets you back on your square. Like you said, like I needed Around the Way Girl. Like even the video was dope. Yeah. When you had all these models coming through, and it was like, nah, I need a Tiffany. I need a speaker. I need a Tanya.
You from around the way, baby. You know what I'm looking for?
Bamboo earrings, at least 2 pairs.
You know what I'm saying? I think that
hell, he got he has the same wife, man, since the beginning, and like black woman, man, you gotta salute Uncle L for that.
Yeah, and then the thing I would add too is I always appreciate, like, even though at the time I guess that turned into a whole thing, but L is with the like, yo, if I'm gonna be on the track, I'm gonna try to have the best verse on the track. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Which I think is a value that's an essential hip hop value. Like, even though I love you my mans, but if I jump back into the rap game, we said we was gonna make a song together, I want to have the best verse, and I hope you want to have the best verse. And we'll let the people decide. Like, we ain't got to fight about it, but I'm saying I'm going to come with my best work. Like, I don't be able to like, I'm going to just sort of like throw something together so that Nabri can shine. I'm like, nah, man, Nabri going to shine because he Nabri. He going to figure that out. I need to come with my best work though. Don't come in here with no garbage time. And I think like the idea of that as a, even tying back to what we was talking about with the push-up challenge, that doing your best is not necessarily about me and you competing, you know what I mean? But it's about our level, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's an important thing to take. Like, man, do the best thing you could do, man. Don't come out here with no halftime, poop butt stuff.
Yeah. And that's a positive message, man, to, go into 2021 with. Just try to keep putting your best foot forward. Keep pushing, man. I think that's going to be my motto, from now until, man. Just keep on pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I had, COVID, I still was trying to bust out some push-ups. You know what I mean? Just to see, okay, I ain't that sick. I could bust out some push-ups.
Get a set in.
So something's wrong when you can't. You try something and you can't do it at all. But nah, man, keep on pushing, man. And we have a lot of examples of people who've been through a lot, man, and they're still going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Salute to LL. Salute to Slick Rick the Ruler. There's no man cooler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You want to just go put on 50 chains, cop some Wallaby Clarks, and wear a patch over your eye, and have that accent he has, man. What's that, British?
Yeah.
As sure it's like, yo, yeah, man.
Well, as I say with the Ruler, for there are few people on earth who can maintain the ability to be themselves and always seem to be like just a step ahead, style wise, or how they doing it. Just and in that pocket, and then the musical contributions and won't. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't tell the story without talking about the Ruler. You know what I'm saying? He's in there. You can't tell the story of the music and of the culture. So props and much love to him. Other than that, guy, we gonna say something for later. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna make it greater. And anything you want to say just to close us out?
Hey man, yeah, my battery's dying anyway. No, just stay tuned for more. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to us. As a black man thinketh, as Nabri thinketh, co-host Justice, Rajee, Ask Your Oldhead Podcast, the Good Brothers Podcast. I look forward to, presenting y'all with more content, and we're going to talk about everything, man. We're going to just, uplift and enlighten each other, and we're going, kick some of the bullshit, and we also going, try and make sense of some of the bullshit if we can. And yeah, everybody just keep it pushing, man.
All right. And with that, we say peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to As a Black Man Thinketh with Nabri Savior and Justice Rajee. Special distributive wing of the Ask Your Oldhead Podcast universe, so to speak. Special time with my good brother. We're heading towards February. If you want to join us for some push-ups, you know what I'm saying, feel free. I hope that you got the basic idea on the front end. You know what I mean? Do your set. Don't worry about nothing else. Ask Your Oldhead is a creative project that I started around self-development, learning, and capturing the stories and the ideas and the way I move through the world as a black man. So please take the best part for yourself. You can support the podcast by sharing, rating, subscribing, becoming a patron, which you can find on Patreon. Also, man, listen to the show. I appreciate the feedback. And if you really want to do something special, check out the video version, which is a new wrinkle looking to add here in 2021. So, much more to come, but please be safe. COVID world as it is, Capitol insurrections, you name it. Thank you for listening. Peace.